as we know that the environment are changing every day, and I have to say that the environment are changing in a bad way. So today our group 15 will talk about top 5 impact of human on the biodiversity. First is about the deforestation. So what is deforestation? Deforestation means that people destroying trees and forests so quickly that they cannot recover, and it affects a lot to the biodiversity. So what are the reasons of the deforestation? First is about the farmers that they need lands to grow crops and raise their animals. So they have to remove forests to have room for farms, and they use slush and burn to perform deforestation. Second are about the logging. So the loggers cut down trees for their own benefit. Logging is illegal in many countries like national park. The wood is being used for some purpose like making papers or building materials. So the wood are being used to make homes and papers, so many that they cannot reproduce. Third are about the mining. Miners search for materials like gold, copper, and aluminum. This clear the land, including the forest that occupy, and this leads to contaminate the ecosystem with runoff. Fourth is about building dams. Dams generate hydroelectric energy that flood forest upstream, and tree decay slowly when dams are built in tropical water, and they lead to depriving the water oxygen. The final is roads. People have to build roads for themselves, and they destroy trees in a way provide access to a larger area of the forest for loggers, miners, and farmers. So, what are the effects of deforestation? First is deforestation lead to disrupt water cycle and carbon cycle. Second are loss of biodiversity. Third is soil erosion. Fourth is poor water quality.
Which is desertification? So first of all, what is desertification? Desertification is a type of land degradation in which a relatively dry land region becomes increasingly arid, typically losing its body of water as well as vegetation and wildlife. It is caused by a variety of factors. Desertification is a significant global ecological and environmental problem. So, what is the causes of desertification? There are 4 main causes. The first one is drought. Drought is a condition where the land gone through a long period with their rainfall. It causes crops to die, which leads to the lack of food. The land is uninhabited and result in desertification. The second cause is overgrazing. This is a situation where too many animals grazing on the land. They eat all the vegetation in a short period of time, which makes vegetation fails to grow. Consequently, soil is exposed to rain and wind. It is washed or blown away. The land loses all the soil and becomes desert. The third cause is overcultivation. Overcultivation is when many crops being grown on the land year after year. There is no rotation of crops. Too many crops take all the nutrients from the soil. Finally, the soil becomes infertile and nothing can grow on them anymore. Because there are no crops to protect the soil is again easily eroded by the wind and rain. This is the formation of the real desert. The final main cause is human activities. The removal of natural vegetation cover by taking too much fuel wood leaves behind a non-nutrient piece of land which we call desert. So, what is the effects of desertification and what it do to our living system? First effect is soil erosion. Soil erosion is increased since there are no trees anchoring the soil. Therefore, as it blows or washes away, nutrients within the soil are also removed by wind or water. Meanwhile, there is an increase in the saline content of the soil, which makes it even harder for plants to grow. The second effect is biodiversity decline. Due to land degradation, animal species have to migrate to other areas that sufficiently satisfy their needs, while others were at risk of extinction. Their disappearance increased food insecurity, therefore leading to famine. Yes, you can take a look at the picture where they describe the effect of desertification to our climate change and biodiversity loss. This is an enormous problem that we cannot ignore. Finally, the final effect is famine and poverty. Desertification leads to major growth. As a result, the crop production is very low, making food and water very limited. Prices are increased and people who are economically insufficient fall into poverty, which leads to famine. As an example, we can take a look at Africa. Africa has the biggest desert of them all, Sahara Desert. The people in Africa going through famine, poverty, and hunger every single day in a year. In conclusion, desertification is a horrible environmental crisis that we need to get rid of.
One of the impacts of human on diversity is the overexploitation. Overexploitation means harvesting species from the wild at rates faster than natural population can recover. Overfishing and overhunting are both types of overexploitation, and one of the biggest effects of overexploitation on diversity is the cost intentions to animals and plants. Currently, about a third of the world's endangered species are threatened by overexploitation, and here's the chart about factors responsible for animal extinction. We can see that overexploitation occupies around 65% of species affected. This is a very high number, and next I will show you a chart of primary thrust to species population, and here we can see that 37% comes from overexploitation. So we can know how big impact of overexploitation on diversity. If we continue to harvest too many natural resources and cannot control this will lead to the loss of the balance of diversity.
Invasive species is a non-native or alien to the ecosystem under consideration, whose introduction goals is likely to cause economic or environmental harm or harm to human health. Invasive species can be plants, animals, and other organisms. You can simply understand that one species that takes control change in the whole habitat and treat other species sustainable development. For example, Asian carp. Asian carp are fast-growing, aggressive, and adaptable fish that are outcompeting native fish species for food and habitat in much of the mid-season of the United States. Human activity are the main cause of invasive species introduction. First of all, globalization has resulted in research, transport, travel, and tourism, all of which can lead to the introduction and spread of species that are not native to an area. Besides, climate change or global warming is also another factor. Higher temperature may open up new territory to invasive species limited to warmer weather, while putting additional threat on native plants and animals. So, what are the consequences of this? Of course, invasive species had a huge impact on biodiversity. When it creates a monotypic community, they can be aggressive or vigorous, grower, overwhelm and outcompete the local native species, breaking the natural balance resulting in the loss of the native species, thereby lowering the overall biodiversity and health of an area.
Global warming is the gradual rise in the Earth's temperature caused by high levels of carbon dioxide and other gases in the atmosphere. Global warming occurs when carbon dioxide and other air pollutants and greenhouse gases collect in the atmosphere and absorb sunlight and solar radiation that have bounced off the Earth's surface. Normally, this radiation would escape into space, but these pollutants, which can last for years to centuries in the atmosphere, trap the heat and cause the planet to get hotter. That's what's known as the greenhouse effect. Human influence, our actions again become the major cause of the change in climate resulting in global warming. Example, emission from cars and factories, that is air pollution, and another example is deforestation. Reduce the chance for regenerating oxygen. Humans clear vast areas of vegetation around the world for farming, urban and infrastructure development, or to sell tree products such as timber and palm oil. Farming animals, livestock, sheep, and cattle produce methane and greenhouse gas. When livestock raised at a large scale in Australia, the amount of methane produced is a big contributor to global warming. Effect of global warming: more natural disasters like drought, heavy rainfall with floods, heavy snowfall, earthquake, heat waves, ocean acidification, species extinction due to shifting temperature regimes, so broken balance of ecosystem, more and new strain diseases that are hard for treatment, invasive species, new kinds of species which do harm to the biodiversity. Solution of global warming: in order to control these dramatic changes, we must inculcate certain changes such as reuse, recycling, and mitigation. along with clean energy generation, plantation, protection of endangered animals care, and promote sustainable communities. The state also needs more aggressive behavior in the environment together to protect the environment together. Each person doing a small act will contribute to making the environment greener and cleaner and more beautiful.